Hello everyone. Today we'll be unboxing another figurine for the week. Here we have is a figure from the manufacturer's FuRyu, a figurine part of their Tenitol line. Is a PVC figure of the character Yuki Osanai from the series Shōshimin Series or Small Citizen Series, also named How to Become Ordinary. As always, before we take the figure out of its packaging, just in case you didn't know, Shōshimin Series or Small Citizen Series is originally a novel series published by Tokyo Shogensha's Sogen Mystery Bunko in 2004, written by the author Yonezawa Honobu, whose other works also include Hyoka Kotenbu Series in 2001, Oreta Ryukotsu 2011, Suiso Godansho in 2009, and others. So there are two manga adaptations for Shōshimin Series, with one called Shunki Gentei Ichigo Tarto Jiken, which was serialized in Square Enix's Genkanji Fantashi in 2001, following the same story as the writer Yonezawa Honobu, but with art from Manjuya Anko. The other manga is called Kaki Gentei Tropicaru Parfait Jiken, also serialized in Square Enix's Genkiji Fantashi in 2010, with the same story written by Yonezawa Honobu and art illustrated by Omi Omi. A recent manga adaptation called Shōshimin Shunki Gentei Ichigo Tarto Jiken, but this one here is released in 2025 in Kodansha's Magazine Pocket, following the same story by Yonezawa Honobu, but with art by Sagawa Andre. There's also an anime adaptation for the series with the similar name, Shōshimin Series, aired in 2024 by Studios Lapin Track, consisting of 10 episodes, which also has a season 2, aired in 2025 by Studios Lapin Track, consisting of 12 episodes. So here we have is the character Yuki Osanai, and made in figure form. This is her box rotating in 360. So let's just take Osanai out of her packaging and see how the figurine looks. So here we have is Osanai straight out of her box. As you can see here, there's not really too much to show you here, but you can see the figurine is wrapped with plastic. So you can see her base is also wrapped with plastic. So let's just remove all of this and see how the figurine looks up close. So here we have is starting with her base. As you can see at the bottom, it does have information such as the author and other info on the series, and also the figurine like Tenitol and FuRyu. But besides that, you can kind of see there's not really much here at the bottom, just like other figurines where there's nothing really too special about the bottom. But on the top portion here, since this is almost like I always compare it to like a pop-up. But the difference here, it doesn't give you a black base, but they give you a stylized base. As you can see, it kind of represents like the streets of Japan, which is actually quite unique. I love the way they have the little ridges and texture on the surface area here on the road, with little cracks and a little bit of grass on the side there. And it actually looks quite detailed, and I really do like the way it looks. I think they did a nice job with the paint. As you can see, a little bit of shaded gray around, and also the plants are actually flexible, but I advise don't really flick the grass parts. And you can see from the top portion, it does have 3 insert holes where you do connect Osanai's figurine on top. But I actually really do like the way this base looks. It's actually really great. It's a lot better than just the black base that usually we see with Pop-Up Parade figurines. But besides that, I don't really have much bad to say about it. It does have little 2 lines here in the back. But besides that, there's not really anything negative I can say about this. It's actually really great looking, and the texture work they added on top of it looks really nice. So let's just move on to the figurine. So here we have is Osanai, her figurine, the main focal point of the figure. And starting here from the bottom of her loafers, you can kind of see the pegs are the same color as her skin. I wonder if the whole figurine is that color or by the leg portion. But besides that, the loafers look actually painted quite nice. It's a typical brown with a little bit of dark shaded black around it. And they actually look really nicely painted. There's not really too much to the leg area. It's basically just regular flesh colors and not too much detail. At the bottom here, it's a little bit hard to show you because my light's not really hitting the bottom of it, but she doesn't really have any hip sculpt. It's mainly just her legs. So it's just like long legs going all the way to the top glued onto a flat surface. But here, moving on to her skirt, it has a little bit of I guess you can say life, if I'm kind of saying that right or using that right. You can kind of see it's actually swaying to the side, almost as if wind is pushing against it. And you can see because of it, they added a little bit of texture work. You can kind of see the fabric kind of folding in some areas, which actually look really nice. Here from the top portion, because she's in a little posture, like kind of a slight turn. There's also crease lines around her sweater, as you can see. It actually gives it a little bit more detail to it, rather than just a plain flat look. Here you can see the back also has a little bit of creases because she's slightly bended to the side. And the way my light's actually hitting it, you can kind of see it gives it a little bit more detail. Here going off to the side, we get is her hand, where you can kind of see here, her nails are not painted. It's the same color as her skin tone, so that's a little detail you usually see on other figures, but you don't really see it much on Tenitol figures. So going up her sweater, we can kind of see her sailor uniform overlapping the sweater because she's wearing it underneath. And you can kind of see here on the side with her right arm, or right hand I should say, holding a Japanese crepe, which I think that's how you say it. Yeah, you can kind of see because Yuki Osanai has a little bit of a sweet tooth, if I'm using that right. And you can kind of see here her hand sculpt on this angle is bended slightly up. And you can kind of see another angle here of her sailor uniform overlapping the sweater from the back. Here's her side profile, where you can kind of see a little bit of detail on her sleeve there. And to the top portion here, you can kind of see her neck sculpt there. And here we have is her face, which actually looks really nice. A lot better than what we saw with the previous figurines of Dandadan. Here, her face is actually sculpted quite well, and the paint they actually did on her face looks really good. This is the first thing I've noticed when I actually took it out, that the face paint is actually really nice. They added little details such as little blushes and a little bit of lines by her nose area. And yeah, right here you can kind of see the little bit of detail they added on top of her nose and from her side cheeks, which is actually really great. It makes the figurine a little bit more detailed. The top underneath her bangs, you can kind of see is her little eyebrows there. They're hiding underneath her little front bangs. But yeah, it's actually really sculpted quite nice. You can kind of see her hair is actually has, I would assume it's 2 layers when you see it from the side back here or at the bottom of it. You can kind of see there's a top layer and then there's a bottom separate layer rather than just a full sculpt of hair. You do get 2 layers there, so it actually is a lot more detail than you see with a couple of other figurines that we do get. And the hair, the lines are actually quite detailed, adding all these little lines around it. The top portion does fall a little flat, where from the lines from the side ending halfway, but we do get is a little bit of a cowlick there with 2 little stubbies here of strands of hair, which are actually pretty cute. Besides that, it actually feels fragile, so do be careful with the top little hair cowlick area. But besides that, it's actually a really nice figurine. It's actually a lot more detail and it looks like a high quality figure compared to the other Tenitols that I own. So I'm actually surprised the way this figure came out. So let's just add this figurine to its base and I guess finish off the unboxing. Alright guys, so that was FuRyu's Tenitol PVC figure of the character Yuki Osanai from the series Shōshimin Series, How to Become Ordinary. So, all in all I gotta say is a really great figurine. Like I stated earlier, that first thing I noticed when I took it out of the packaging, that the paint quality of it looks really nice, and the face paint actually looks really amazing. Yes, there's just some little bit of, inconsistencies in some areas, and maybe could have been maybe a little bit better painted on the Japanese crepe, but I think that's a little bit too nitpicky, so I'm not going to really, make the figurine sound a lot worse than what it is. It's actually a really nice figurine. I know Kotobukiya is also releasing their own Yuki Osanai figurines, which I did get, so when that does come, I am going to unbox that one. So, all in all I gotta say is, this is actually a great, nice little figurine, but what do you guys think? But as always, I don't want to keep holding you guys back. If you have not seen Shōshimin Series or How to Become Ordinary, I highly recommend it. I know it's not for everyone, because I know people like that action, jam-packed type show, but if you like mystery shows, or if you ever seen another series called Sagrada Reset, if you know that series, it's kind of similar vibe to that, but without the supernatural parts of it. But it's a little bit more down to earth. But anyways guys, that's going to be the end of this one. That was the Shōshimin Series Tenitol figurine of Yuki Osanai. I'll leave you guys off with the figurine rotating in 360. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Always support the original creators and also the shows. And as always, see you guys in the next one. She actually looks really cute with the little cowlick.
This is FuRyu Tenitol 甘い果汁この痛みも今年味を求めている熱々溶けた砂糖のような硬い表情甘とカット繰り返してる雨模様の放課後こんなのはどうだろういたずらに微笑むふわって雨そぎが風に揺れるまだ僕ら孤独な過去に生きてる小賢しさも執念深さも肩がつくあの星を目指したいつかまた心から笑える日々が訪れても光も闇もないよ表も裏でも君だよ上目遣いのクエスチョンが交渉海手とエディション今が最高という一瞬があるいとけないがある雪解けに香る静かに燃えるサマーバブランで悲しみはどこから来るまだ今はコロの心を持つぐらい朝と光る夜でも繰り返すこの星を選んだのも僕らだった涙拭けば窓から差し込む夕日諦めれば楽なのにまたそれが苦しいから結んだんだ言葉だけじゃどうも不安定僕はただ手のひらで踊る雨そぎが風 に揺れるまだ僕ら孤独な過去に生きてる小賢しさも執念深さも平らげるあの星を掴み取るいつかまた心から笑える日々が訪れても痛みも闇もないよこの手を離してあげるよ